JTA Corp Credit Union. With our auto loan, you enjoy low monthly payments, free loan insurance protection, and automatic approval for a premium finance loan to cover your insurance needs. Don't just dream about that new car. Let the JTA Corp Credit Union help you drive it today. The JTA Corp Credit Union Limited, serving our members, impacting lives positively.
Public sector employees, we hail you as our local heroes.
JN Bank is here to help you find financial solutions as you serve our nation on the front line at this critical time.
Consolidate debt with JN Bank COVID-19 assistance loan, defer payments, and more.
Increase your credit card limit, convert debt, and take advantage of pre-approved offers with our credit card assistance.
Convert your mortgage, extend your loan tenure, and more.
JN Bank is even waiving multiple banking fees to give you that extra help.
And while we're practicing hand washing and social distancing, here are some healthy financial habits to help you. Use your credit or debit card instead of cash. Save the money you would use for travel, entertainment, etc. and do online banking via JN Live.
Visit www.jnbank.com/COVID-19-help for more information and contact our public sector engagement team to find out more.
JN Bank, we'll help you find a way.
Welcome to the Jamaica Publishing House. My name is Prudence Burrell, your Marketing and Sales Officer. Come on in. These are our newly published books. We have Mathematics Made Real series. We have book 1 and book 2 for grade 4. And we also have for grade 5. And coming soon, we have grade 6. And they are authored by Davion Leslie. Leaps and Bounds in Literacy for Juniors, the focus is on reading and comprehension skills. Coming soon, we have the Journeys in Literacy for Juniors for grade 4, and the focus is on developing writing skills. We also have Leaps and Bounds in Literacy for grade 4, developing grammar, and Leaps and Bounds for grade 5. And they are all authored by Fionn Elliott Walker. They are all aligned to the NSC and focus on STEM and STEAM. These published books are currently on the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information supplementary list for the year 2020-21. Guess what? We also have books for early childhood and secondary schools. Here we have the Get Ready to Learn series, terms 1 to 3 for 4 and 5-year-olds. For secondary schools, here are our books for drama, EDPM, food and nutrition, history, and literature, all authored by Jamaican educators. These books are available in bookstores island-wide. You may contact us at 876-967-3866 or 922-13857, extension 2223, or you can visit us at the headquarters of our parent company, the Jamaica Teachers Association at 97B Church Street, Kingston. Thank you.
Good day, Judy Miller-Smith, Tip Friendly Society. TIP is usually very happy to partner with the JTA on its various initiatives. Here at TIP, we continue to provide our members with excellent products and services. We launched our mortgage plan very recently. Please speak with any of our representatives for further details on this excellent product. On July 25th, we'll be hosting our annual general meeting at the Jamaica Conference Center. Please visit our website at www.tipfriendly.com for further details. See you soon.
Tired of paying rent? Do you yearn for your own home? Don't wait any longer. Get JTA Corp Credit Union mortgage loan today and enjoy the freedom and peace of mind that comes with owning your own home. With a JTA Corp Credit Union mortgage loan, you enjoy a low interest rate of 7.5% per annum, up to 25 years to repay, and free insurance protection on your loan. Enjoy the freedom and security of home ownership with JTA Corp Credit Union Limited. The JTA Corp Credit Union Limited, serving our members, impacting lives positively.
2 top candidates vie for the JTA presidency. Watch Petersfield Primary Teacher Godfrey Drummond and Golden Spring Primary Principal Winston Smith in the first ever JTA Presidential Debate. Will Godfrey Drummond reign?
I want to ensure that at the end of the day, Drummond would have made an impact
Or will Winston Smith prevail?
A vote for me is a vote for a positive change in the Jamaica Teachers Association.
Catch the action live in the JTA Presidential Debate this Thursday, July 16, starting at 5:30 p.m. live on the JTA's Facebook page and YouTube channel. That's the 2020 JTA Presidential Debate this Thursday, July 16. The Jamaica Teachers Association, unite and serve. Hello, and thank you for joining us for this, the first in the Jamaica Teachers Association's National Debate. I'm Damian Mitchell. Remember, there are no special judges for this debate, and so you, the teachers, and the members of the JTA will be the judges. Our contenders, senior teacher at the Petersfield Primary School, Godfrey Drummond, and Golden Spring Primary School Principal, Winston Smith. Both are running for the office of President-elect for the 2020-2021 conference year. The winner of the 2020-2021 President-elect elections will become the president of the JTA for 2021-2022. The President-elect elections will be held in another few weeks. We now pause as we invite the candidates to acknowledge each other. Thank you, gentlemen. This debate is coming to you live from the WBC Ben Hawthorne Conference Room at the offices of the Jamaica Teachers Association at 97B Church Street in downtown Kingston. We begin this segment with each candidate being allotted 5 minutes to make his opening statement. Earlier, the Golden Spring Primary School Principal, Winston Smith, won the coin toss and asked that his contender goes first. So now, senior teacher at the Petersfield Primary School in Westmoreland, Godfrey Drummond, for his 5-minute opening statement.
Thank you very much. Luke 6, verse 40. The student is not above the teacher, but everyone who is fully trained will be like their teacher. Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for life. Thank you for love. Thank you for everything. Clear our thoughts, guide, guard, and protect us. Inspire us. Hasten the strides of those who are on their way, as we give you thanks in Jesus' name. Amen. Good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Godfrey Drummond. It is indeed an honor for me to stand here to represent the Jamaica Teachers Association. Before I start, I want to bring to your attention two very telling issues. One occurred last year when I came to a council meeting. I passed on the landing downstairs. An elderly gentleman, when I inquired of him, he was trying to gain access to his pensions. He was trying to get information, but he was unable to do so. When I inquired of him, he said that he had worked for 32 years in the vacation area at a secondary school, and he has lost the services of his health insurance as well. And I said to myself, this should not happen to any teacher who have done 3 decades of service to the Jamaica Teachers Association. The second instance was in May, when we were delivering care packages, and we happened to go to a particular teacher's residence. She's retired, having worked for 40 years, and the conditions under which she's living is very, very untenable. And I'm saying we have to treat with a matter of urgency how we treat our teachers. These are 2 teachers who have never risen to the positions higher than a regular classroom or a regular subject teacher. Let me pay homage to all our past presidents and all our volunteers, and I commit to take on a team approach. We all working with Mr. Owen Speed and Mr. Jasford Gabriel, once elected, to ensure that the businesses of the Jamaica Teachers Association is on and in earnest. No man is an island. No man stands alone. Colleague, I'm Godfrey Drummond. I'm a senior teacher at Petersfield Primary and Infant School. I'm a trained negotiator, having done industrial relations. I want to let you know that I was the president of the G.C. Foster College Students' Council, and I was selected to be the tertiary rep at the Jamaica Federation of Democratic Youths and Students in Caracas, Venezuela, where I presented a paper on education in the developing world. Colleague, I can tell you that I was also integral in the JASPEV, the Jamaica Social Development with Robert Gregory. I am a trained physical educator. I'm a certified English FA coach. And I can tell you I've worked at all levels at the JTA, from the district level, the contact teacher. I was the parish president for Westmoreland. I am currently the national president, well, the national chair for sports. And I bring to you a plethora of experiences. Colleague, you want fair, firm, honest leaders. Choose wisely. Select someone who has your back. No teacher, absolutely no teacher will be left behind. This is Godfrey Drummond. I am here to put back class in the classroom. And I am saying, without fear or favor, that it is teachers' time. And we must seek to ensure that the regular classroom teacher, they are treated as equally or better than any. Colleagues, I want to ensure that a part of my mandate that stems the Drummond's dazzling dozen, give you 12 items that are attainable. They are specific, they are realistic, they are measurable, and they are time-bound, because we use a survey, we use the SMART objective, and we listen to our constituent. I want you to know that Drummond is here for you. Drummond cares for you, and no teacher will be left behind. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond. Now to the principal of the Golden Spring Primary School, Mr. Winston Smith, for your 5-minute opening statement.
Thank you, and I want to thank Mr. Drummond for that invocation. But the heights of great men, reached and kept, were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling upwards through the night. Ladies and gentlemen in cyberspace, I am Winston Smith, principal at Golden Spring Primary School, former principal of Constitution Hill Primary School, a teacher with over 2 decades of experience, spanning classroom teacher, form teacher, head of department, grade coordinator, a contact teacher for the Jamaica Teachers Association, a district president, parish president, 4 times national chairman, and one who continues to serve all teachers right across the length and breadth of Jamaica. As a matter of fact, my colleagues, even this morning, I was consulted by a principal who asks about the special teacher allowance. I've been written to and asked for help by classroom teachers who are asking about appointment and monies that they should be paid. Colleagues, I stand before you to seek your assistance in making me your president-elect. Having learned over the years in the Jamaica Teachers Association, having studied at the feet of the likes of Patrick Smith, Basil Benji, worked with current Secretary General Byron Farquharson when he was chairman of salaries. I've worked with Sherlock Allen, God rest his soul, and my mentor and friend Wayne Mullins. And I'm sure he will find peace and contentment. Colleagues, having listened to all the cries of teachers right across the length and breadth of Jamaica, it is time that I have now stepped to the plate. I did it last year, and I thank the 3,209 teachers who would have voted for me last year. But of course, Mr. Gabriel was ahead of me in the race, so it was difficult to catch up and surpass him. But this time around, I'm confident, colleagues, that you will ensure that I get the necessary support to help me, to help all of us as your president in 2022. Colleagues, the job of the president of the JTA is not an easy one. As one entertainer would say, it's not an easy road. Some see the glamour and the glitter and they think it's a better rose, but who feels it knows. I have felt it, colleagues, when I marched from the JTA to the Ministry of Education to defend the cause of all teachers when the Jamaica Teaching Council bill was upon us. Colleagues, I have felt the pain of being a member of the JTA, a teacher in Jamaica, when I apply for loans and can't get it because I don't have enough disposable income. Colleagues, I've seen the pain of my teachers on my staff when they need to purchase motor vehicles, when they need to purchase their houses, and they're not able to do so. Colleagues, but with that, we sat together as a team, as a group of educators, And I hear my opponent speak of teachers for teachers, and I thank him for it. Because what he's telling all of us and all teachers of Jamaica, vote for Winston Smith when he says teachers for teacher, because indeed I'm a teacher, and I never forget where I'm coming from. And I still maintain that I am indeed a teacher. I'm merely a teacher occupying the post of principal, using the God-given opportunity to enhance and mold the lives of teachers as well as students, because my aim is to make Jamaica land we love indeed a better place. Colleagues, I'm asking you to stand with the tried, tested, and proven. Having been on the General Council from 2008, I've presented many resolutions that would have inured to the benefit of all teachers. The last and most telling one, when I looked and realized that the regular classroom teacher would not have an opportunity to sit on the General Council of the Jamaica Teachers Association. I believe that your voice, my colleagues in the classroom, those of you who are not a district president or a parish president, you have much to say, you have much to contribute. And having recognized that, I wrote a resolution that asked the General Council, the JTA, the conference, to expand the General Council by 5 members. And not only that, we put an embargo and said, President, you can only get 15 out of the 20. And today I'm proud to say that there are teachers. I am one of such who benefited from that, and there are others who would have benefited from it. Colleagues, in 2010, when I recognized that teachers were just simply receiving Happy Teachers Day, I wrote a resolution that says the JTA should give to each teacher a token. And not only did I write the resolution, I piloted at conference onto succession and to successful completion. We ask every year through that resolution for an increased budgetary allocation, colleagues, so that you, my dear friends and colleagues, can feel good. Vote for Winston Smith, and you will have no regret. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. For the next segment, questions will be posed alternately to each candidate. The candidate will be allotted 3 minutes to answer. His opponent will get 1 minute for a rebuttal. Both candidates have been briefed of the rules, and as said before, earlier we had the coin toss, and Mr. Winston Smith won and elected to go second. Our first question, therefore, will go to Mr. Godfrey Drummond, senior teacher at the Petersfield Primary School. Mr. Drummond, if elected, how will you seek to engage numerous teachers now uninterested in joining the JTA?
Thank you very much. It is a known fact that teachers are turned off from the JTA because at the ground level, at the base level, we are not doing enough. One of the things that we need to do is to train our contact teachers. We want to rebrand the contact teachers, not just to use because they are liked in the school, but because they are trained and are able to give necessary and requisite information to their staff. By doing so, what we'll have the multiplying effect, because more teachers will come on board because of the representation they are getting from their representative on the ground. Once we are able to train them adequately, the next step we need to do is to ensure that it is incentivized. So we don't want to train the contact teacher only, we want to incentivize so that they have that desire to go out and to recruit, because we cannot leave it just to the membership rep in each parish to recruit members. Too many of our teachers, because of the first impression, they have gone and we have yet to recapture them. So we want to look as an organization at how we are going to treat with the senior teachers, treat with the contact teachers in the school, to get them to get the regular teachers who join the service to be a part of it. And once we catch them early, then certainly we are able to keep them for a much longer period of time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Drummond. Mr. Smith, your rebuttal.
Thank you. I must congratulate my opponent for so ably articulating item number 20 on my manifesto. I applaud you, and I thank you. You're making my job much easier. Colleagues, it's not just about empowering the contact teachers. Yes, is a must. But one of the first things we need to understand, we must not lie to or say things that we can't deliver as candidates when you're competing for the post of president-elect. Because of the many promises that we would have, candidates would have made over the years, teachers are not getting the deliverables they were promised. And as a result, a high level of apathy sets in. We need to now sit down with the teachers, go to them from a grassroots level, communicate with our teachers, be honest with our teachers, tell the teachers the reality, share with the teachers their rights, their responsibilities, their expectations. Let them know how the union really operates, because sometimes they're living in oblivion as to the realities.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, this is your question. Can you identify one strength and one weakness of the JTA, and how would you seek to improve them?
The JTA is very, very strong on quality representation. And as one who would have gone with Patrick to assist in the representation of teachers at the Appeals Tribunal and at the Ministry of Labour, I'm fully well aware of the strident nature of the Jamaica Teachers Association when it comes to defending the cause and the rights of all teachers. However, one of the issues that I would want to change, and if you ask of weakness, I would want to see where the JTA spend a little bit more time, not to say they're not doing it, but to spend some more time to educate the teachers of their role and functions within the school. Educate the teachers of their rights and their responsibilities so that we can mitigate some of the challenges that emanate at the classroom level among principal and teacher, among teachers and classroom teachers, senior teachers, vice principal, etc. So I want to look at a preventative measure rather than a corrective measure. And that's one of the areas I think the JTA could improve significantly on.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Drummond, your rebuttal.
Thank you very much. If I were to look at the issues that would have circulated, certainly education is going to be critical. We are in education, but a lot of us are not aware of some of the issues that occur in education. We are not aware of the intricacies of the Jamaica Teachers Association, which is our union. And because of this unawareness, we are misguided. So as a point of order, we'd want to start to educate all teachers. And we have to break it into small groups, and then we make larger groups. Because the fact of the matter is that if we don't catch them, then they lose interest. The second thing that we want to look at is the strength. We have policies in place, but I don't think we are strong enough on these policies. And sometimes I don't know if it's because of cronyism or cliqueism. We tend to circumnavigate and go around the issues when the issues are there to be dealt with. And I'm saying we have to be strong, we have to be firm, and we have to be decisive.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond. Mr. Drummond, the next question is for you. What is your position on the licensing of teachers?
Certainly, this is a bill that, and I see Mr. Dixon down there, because these are persons who would have fledged out the JTC bill. But let me tell you, I believe in quality assurance. The document from the JTC is not a bad document. There are issues in it that can be used, because I believe as a classroom teacher that teacher accountability is the greatest problem that we are having, because teachers don't feel that they're accountable. What we'd want to see is that teachers are held accountable. The area that I have an issue with is the area that seeks to make criminal of teachers once their licensing expires. So just like your firearm or your driver's license, when it is expired, you become a criminal, you can be charged, you need to renew it. I am saying, let us sort out other issues in education before we look at that aspect. And if there is an amendment that needs to be addressed, that is the amendment that I would want to see dealt with, and dealt with matter of urgency.
Thank you very much, Mr. Drummond. Mr. Smith, your rebuttal.
The Jamaica Teaching Council bill is an idea or a concept that the JTA, in principle, has no issue with. However, the devil is in the details. Now, the Jamaica Teaching Council bill, when I rejected it in 2013, want to say that if an allegation is brought against a teacher, the teacher will lose his or her license. And if the teacher is vindicated in a court of law, the JTC, as it was then, would say we reserve the right to inflict a punishment. Now, we can't have a system where a teacher has to now pay to be given back your license, even though you're not found guilty. In addition, to tell the teacher that if you are practicing outside of the realm of your license, even in your own home with your own family, you are going to be criminalized. I have a serious challenge with that, because I am a teacher, and if I choose to teach my children, I should not be made a criminal by doing what I was trained to do and want to do.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. And for your question, how do you propose to improve teacher accountability?
To get teachers to understand and to become more accountable, one of the things I say to my staff at Golden Spring is that you must have professional pride. If a teacher has professional pride and with proper training by the principal of the school and by senior teachers at the school, the middle managers, every single teacher would have performed their job well. The accountability, as we try to make it out to be, is not really so much on the part of the classroom teacher, you know. It's really within the realm of administration. Because the teacher will do, once encouraged, motivated, and given the support, the teacher will perform his or her duties. What we need to have is to ensure that the teachers are given timeline, measurable areas for assessment, get the teachers involved, have each teacher through cooperative and collaborative work, set up what we call an action plan. And each teacher will now use that action plan to execute his or her lesson. Each supervisor or vice principal, even the principal, will sit with these teachers from time to time and coach them, mentor them, give them emotional support, financial support, and professional support in getting them do the job that is at hand. Accountability in the sense that, yes, we have deliverables that we need to have done. We are responsible to the Ministry of Education. We are responsible to our parents, to our children, and the nation as a whole. So therefore, we want to ensure that each teacher fully understands the role that he or she plays in today's society and use these benchmarks, which would have been set up both by the Ministry of Education as well as the school's management team, to know how the teacher is performing and to guide them along the process, rather than wait until when it is appraisal time. We walk in, blam, appraisal, you fail, and that you're not performing. We want to make sure that there's a roadmap, and that roadmap will guide their decision making, will guide the way they perform, and make sure that the code of regulation that is used to guide teachers, our teachers in the classroom, must be au fait with what it contains. And as a principal, as a contact teacher, as the teacher up to the board, it is our responsibility to get these teachers up to par so that they fall no foul of the law and will perform well and do their job with pride, with decency, with self-confidence, and of course, quality performance, which make Jamaica Land We Love a good place and Vision 2030 a reality.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Drummond, you have committed, well, let me take your rebuttal first, Mr. Drummond.
Thank you very much. You know, one of the things we must understand is that education is a strict concept. And even though it is dynamic and changes from time to time, we have to seek to be accountable to all our stakeholders. And that's one. So the teacher must understand their professional responsibility first and foremost. But what we can do as a staff, as a school, is that we can have ongoing staff development, because refresher courses normally enable teachers to keep them on the straight and narrow. And that is one of the things that we must seek to infuse as a matter of urgency and a matter of must, that we must have ongoing training and development. We must also seek to partner with our stakeholders, collaborate, because it is through this partnership and collaboration that we can hold teachers accountable, we can hold parents accountable, we can hold the ministry accountable. And once accountability comes from all sectors, then I am sure teachers will fall in line.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond, for your rebuttal. Now for your question. You've committed to increasing health coverage for all teachers to 100% if elected. How would you do this?
Again, I want to look at it under two spheres. One, teaching has become a very stressful job of late. And I don't want to look at other sectors. I just want to look at education. The fact that teaching has become such a stressful job, we find a number of our constituents are developing lifestyle illnesses. The stress level has risen. And so we must seek to partner with the government through the health service provider. We must seek to collaborate with other non-governmental groups so that where there's a shortfall, it can be adequately compensated for, so that our teachers, their health coverages can be improved. The second part that I want to look at is the part where a number of our teachers, once they reach retirement, their health benefits are discontinued. And I am saying, with Drummond as your president, I'm going to be pressing for this, because at retirement, even though the teachers are not under our care, that is the time that they need the health benefits more than ever. And I will be advocating, I will be partnering, I will be collaborating just to ensure that we can get the necessary funding so that, one, our teachers are covered, but secondly, our retirees, because it's not good to have to look at some of the conditions that our retirees are living under and some of the health concern that they are facing as a result of what they did in the classroom.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond. Mr. Smith, your rebuttal.
Thank you. The issue of healthcare for our practitioners are one of great importance, and we can never undervalue the importance of it. However, in a time like this, in a harsh economic climate, and to understand that we can't, there are some issues in negotiation that we can't simply say teachers. Once it is an issue or an item that covers the entire public service, it means therefore that whatever teachers get in this regard, all members of the public service would also be duty bound, so to speak, to get the same package, because it's a common thing within the bargaining unit called public workers or public sector workers. What we would be advocating for, and if I should become the president, is not about moving it to 100%. The issue that is really of importance now to our educators is that of critical illness. Currently, the surgical card that we have doesn't cover critical illness in and of itself as a discipline on the card. You'd have to know, apply for an advance benefit. Now we're saying, and I am saying, that as the JTA president, I would want to make sure that this critical area is covered on the health service.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Now, for your question, Mr. Smith, what's the basis of your optimism that the salaries of teachers could be reclassified to 100% of market?
All right. When we did our reclassification, and this was done in 2008, there are three things, to the best of my memory, and I stand corrected, but I believe I'm correct. There are three major issues that caused the teachers to be pegged at 80% of market. One of the factors was that, one, teachers were given a pension at the time upon retirement. That provision has been eroded with the 2017 Pension Act, where public sector workers now pay their own pension. So that's one item that has been taken away from us. The second item was that of teachers benefited from study leave, paid study leave, to go and advance themselves. Now, what we have found out in recent times, the Ministry of Education, and maybe by extension the Ministry of Finance, would have cut the allocations or the provisions for study leave. We are now seeing where the ministry is putting emphasis on STEAM. Now, I'm not saying that the government, from a policy perspective, should not go and say, well, this is what we want for the country. But if it is an item that is used to derive what I get as my compensation for my work, and it has been removed from us, then we should now go back to the table to regain that which was taken from us. The other item was that teachers benefited from paid holidays. Now we are looking, and from my vantage point where I sit, holidays have been taken away from the teachers. When I started teaching in 1993 as a pre-trained teacher, each December would get 3 to 3.5 weeks of vacation leave or holiday, right? Now, in today's world, sometimes we go as far as up to the 22nd of December. This time is taken away from us. In summer, we used to get 2 months and a week and change. Now we are not getting that. Teachers are asked to come out to work right through, and school reopen late August. So the factors that were used to peg us at 80% of market has been taken away from us. And for that reason, the JTA, led by Winston Smith, with the strength of the General Council and the 25,000 teachers behind me who are members, and I'm hoping that by the time I'm president, we move it from 25 to 30,000. But when we go, we are going to go in a united manner to go to the Ministry of Finance and to say, this was what you used to place us at 80. You have taken it away from us. Therefore, we need to be realigned and placed at 100% of market. And if not possible, 120 even, because the teachers need houses, Mr. Drummond.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Drummond, your rebuttal.
Thank you very much, Damian. Mr. Smith spoke earlier about it. One of the things that we must do whenever we are seeking election is to be honest, and we must be conscionable. The world is going through a crisis. All but maybe 4 or 5% of the countries, their economies have collapsed. Now, realistically, going into a negotiation, I don't see it where the government is going to meet us at 100%. And let us be very, very realistic and very, very conscionable as teachers. One, we must treat with it that let us move it 5% or 10%. But realistically, going to the Ministry of Finance with that as an agenda item, we won't get it. And let us not kid ourselves. Let us be conscionable. Let us be realistic in our utterances. That's all I'm asking.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond. We go now to our first break on this, the first ever nationally organized JTA Presidential Debate series between Petersfield Primary School teacher Godfrey Drummond and the principal of the Golden Spring Primary School, Winston Smith. Stay with us. More after these.
The wheels turn in your favor at the JTA Corp Credit Union. With our auto loan, you enjoy low monthly payments, free loan insurance protection, and automatic approval for a premium finance loan to cover your insurance needs. Don't just dream about that new car. Let the JTA Corp Credit Union help you drive it today. The JTA Corp Credit Union Limited, serving our members, impacting lives positively. The wheels.
Public sector employees, we hail you as our local heroes.
JN Bank is here to help you find financial solutions as you serve our nation on the front line at this critical time.
Consolidate debt with JN Bank COVID-19 assistance loan, defer payments, and more.
Increase your credit card limit, convert debt, and take advantage of pre-approved offers with our credit card assistance.
Convert your mortgage, extend your loan tenure, and more.
JN Bank is even waiving multiple banking fees to give you that extra help.
And while we're practicing hand washing and social distancing, here are some healthy financial habits to help you. Use your credits or debit card instead of cash. Save the money you would use for travel, entertainment, etc. and do online banking via JN Live.
Visit www.jnbank.com/COVID-19-health for more information and contact our public sector engagement team to find out more.
JN Bank, we'll help you find a way.
Welcome to the Jamaica Publishing House. My name is Prudence Burrell, your Marketing and Sales Officer. Come on in. These are our newly published books. We have Mathematics Made Real series. We have book 1 and book 2 for grade 4. And we also have for grade 5. And coming soon, we have grade 6. And they are authored by Davion Leslie. Leaps and Bounds in Literacy for Juniors, the focus is on reading and comprehension skills. Coming soon, we have the Journeys in Literacy for Juniors for grade 4, and the focus is on developing writing skills. We also have Leaps and Bounds in Literacy for grade 4, developing grammar, and Leaps and Bounds for grade 5. And they are all authored by Fionn Elliott Walker. They are all aligned to the NSC and focus on STEM and STEAM. These published books are currently on the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information supplementary list for the year 2020-21. Guess what? We also have books for early childhood and secondary schools. Here we have the Get Ready to Learn series, terms 1 to 3 for 4 and 5-year-olds. For secondary schools, here are our books for drama, EDPM, food and nutrition, history, and literature, all authored by Jamaican educators. These books are available in bookstores island-wide. You may contact us at 876-967-3866 or 922-13857, extension 2223, or you can visit us at the headquarters of our parent company, the Jamaica Teachers Association at 97B Church Street, Kingston. Thank you.
Good day, Judy Miller Smith, Tip Friendly Society. TIP is usually very happy to partner with the JTA on its various initiatives. Here at TIP, we continue to provide our members with excellent products and services. We launched our mortgage plan very recently. Please speak with any of our representatives for further details on this excellent product. On July 25th, we'll be hosting our annual general meeting at the Jamaica Conference Center. Please visit our website at www.tipfriendly.com for further details. See you soon.
Tired of paying rent? Do you yearn for your own home? Don't wait any longer. Get JTA Credit Union mortgage loan today and enjoy the freedom and peace of mind that comes with owning your own home. With a JTA Credit Union mortgage loan, you enjoy a low interest rate of 7.5% per annum, up to 25 years to repay, and free insurance protection on your loan. Enjoy the freedom and security of home ownership with JTA Credit Union Limited. The JTA Credit Union Limited, serving our members, impacting lives positively. Tired of...
It's down to the wire. 2 top candidates vie for the JTA presidency. Watch Petersfield primary teacher Godfrey Drummond and Golden Spring primary principal Winston Smith in the first ever JTA presidential debate. Will Godfrey Drummond reign?
I want to ensure that at the end of the day, Drummond would have made an impact.
Or will Winston Smith prevail?
A vote for me is a vote for a positive change in the Jamaica Teachers Association.
Catch the action live in the JTA presidential debate this Thursday, July 16, starting at 5:30 p.m. live on the JTA's Facebook page and YouTube channel. That's the 2020 JTA presidential debate this Thursday, July 16. The Jamaica Teachers Association, unite and serve. Thank you very much for staying with us. I'm Damian Mitchell. This is the 2020 JTA presidential debate series. Our contenders, Petersfield Primary School senior teacher Godfrey Drummond and the principal of the Golden Spring Primary School in St. Andrew, Winston Smith. We begin this segment with our first question from the region. This question comes from Rosemary Thompson Collins, representing the JTA's South Central region.
Greetings, colleagues. My name is Rosemary Thompson Collins, president of the Manchester Parish Association, representing the South Central region. Our question to you is, if you are elected, what support will you provide to the members in light of this digital landscape during your first 100 days in office? Thank you.
That question goes to Mr. Godfrey Drummond.
Thank you very much. And let me thank the South Central region for that's an issue that we need to address and address expeditiously. I don't want it to reach when I reach in office. I think it's something that ought to be done now. I think Mr. Gabriel, who will take over the reign in a couple of weeks, should be treating with this question, because certainly our teachers were thrusted into obscurity March when they started the virtual teaching. 90% of the teachers whom I've interviewed were never ready, and we must call a spade a spade. What we need to do is to embark on an island-wide retraining of our teachers, and we need to collaborate with the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Education so that they understand the scope of the problem come September 7 that we will be facing. We need to ensure that our teachers are given the necessary resource, the necessary exposure, the necessary expertise so that they can manipulate the device and they can deliver their lessons in a timely manner. We must also treat with the issue of the lessons, the lesson plans that will be used to teach these virtual classes. And we must make amends as quickly as is possible. So I don't want to wait until I'm in office. I would want to advocate for that from now, because come September, a number of our teachers are going to be swimming at the deep end of the pool.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond. Mr. Smith, your rebuttal.
Thank you. The issue of what is happening with the pandemic, and in my 100 days, that would take me from September 1st to December 10th. That would be my 100 days in office. And once I'm in office then, part of the issue, or what I would seek to do, is to utilize the services of the professional development arm of the Jamaica Teachers Association. Indeed, the JTA has a Deputy Secretary General, an Assistant Secretary General, who has responsibility for professional development. I would utilize the services of that individual and that office to ensure that we provide the teachers with the requisite training, and also we want to have workshops that will enhance their ability to deliver learning through virtual learning environment. We want to encourage principals to work with their staff to choose the best method that will work for their respective schools. There's no one size fit all, because some schools may have vast amount of technological resource while others don't. So you have to now seek what is best for you, and the JTA will be there to support you with the training and experience that you need.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Our next question comes from the JTA's Northeast region. Representing that region is Mr. Timor Shaw.
Good afternoon. I am Timor Shaw, President for the St. Mary Teachers Association and the representative for Northeast Region. A number of our members are disgruntled with the overall performance of the association. As President, how do you plan to deal with this and get more members to participate at the DA level? Thank you.
Mr. Smith, that's it.
Thank you. The issue of ensuring that our teachers are satisfied and feel much better about the JTA. It is for that one of that reason why item number 20 is so big on my manifesto. Item number 20 on my manifesto seeks to rebrand and reinstitute the Contact Teacher Institute. Here is where we get teachers involved. But apart from just having teachers involved and training them at the domestic level, so they can see the value of the Jamaica Teachers Association, part of the plan that I have is to ensure that in my cabinet, every single parish will have an additional representative on the central executive, because when I am president, I will be selecting a chairman from each of the 14 parishes out of the 15 that I would have been allocated based on the resolution I would have written in 2015-17. Colleagues, we want to make sure that the teachers understand the role and function of the Jamaica Teachers Association. Part of the issue is that the teachers really don't know what the JTA is about. The JTA is here not to provide you with loans, not to provide you with some things that teachers are asking for, which I want to share here. But the issue is that teachers really don't have a full understanding of the real role and function of the Jamaica Teachers Association. And as such, we want to have the parish presidents from the very memorandum and article of association, which says that the parish president is responsible for the activities of the parish. We want to ensure that the parish presidents are aware of this and give them the support. The district association reports to the parish association, and we want to ensure that the district association members are fully well aware of that. We want to say to the principals, when the teachers need to attend meetings of their union, is their right as a working class or a working person, and you have the right to attend meetings of your union. So therefore, from the JTA, from 97B Church Street, we want to lend that support to the teachers right across the country, so that principals, guidance counselors, classroom teachers, heads of department, they all understand that we are all teachers and we are all pulling together in the same direction. And all we need to do is to spend more time educating our members of the role, the function, and of course, the success of the JTA and how important the Jamaica Teachers Association is to all of us as educators, and the fact that we are all here to unite and serve. Indeed, it's our motto, and we must live by it.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Drummond, your rebuttal.
Thank you very much. One of the things I admired about Mr. Smith from I started coming to General Council is his passion for that rebranding of our teachers, and we must give him that credit. The thing though is that our modality of initiation is wrong. If you ask 10 teachers, new teachers to the profession, they will feel that to become a part of the JTA is to become a part of the JTA Credit Union. And we must dispel that fact. We must let them know that you can be a member of the JTA, it is your union. So once we start the rebranding, we must ensure that the line of demarcation is drawn so that teachers understand. The second thing is that we must be accountable. At the district level, we must be true. Sometimes there are districts that are not constituted, but they say they form a quorum and they continue over. And the truth of the fact, there's nothing happening in these districts. And the third thing is that we must create more social interaction. We have football, we have netball. Create more social interactions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond. The next question will go to you, Mr. Drummond. The JTA has two main functions: educator development and union leadership. Which of these functions now require greater attention and why?
Without fear or favor, I would say education development, because we are finding that a number of our members, our prospective members, are not aware of the happenings of JTA. They are oblivious to some of the happenings inside of their union. And one of the things we must do is we need to cut it. COVID might present us with a great opportunity for retraining across the entire island, where the educational aspect of the JTA is given to all our members. It will enable them to make more informed decisions whenever it comes on to the union side of things. And that is what we must try to do. Address the educational side of the union, and the other side will come along. We tend to do it the opposite way, where we think about the stridency and the advocacy. And because of that, the lack of education, people get disinterested and teachers stay away or shun away from the union.
Thank you very much, Mr. Drummond. Mr. Smith, your rebuttal.
Thank you. To ask me to choose between professional advancement and industrial relations is an unfair position to put any individual in. The reality is, no bird can fly on one wing. Neither can an aircraft, a fixed-wing aircraft, fly without its wings properly positioned. The Jamaica Teachers Association has been built on professional development for its members, as well as industrial relations and representation of its members. We are not, for me as your presidential candidate, both arms will be given priority and treatment. None, it's not as if we should choose one over the other. We want to make sure that both sides are delivered and delivered well. Because we have in our system today school boards who take advantage of our teachers. And we can't give them the impression as though the JTA is all about professional advancement and ignoring industrial relations and representation. At the same time, we want to make sure that our educators are fully well aware of their requirements to function in this environment.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. This question now is for you, Mr. Smith. How would you seek to rebrand the contact teacher training program as set out in the manifesto?
Thank you. In 2013, when I was the National Chairman of Salaries and Conditions of Service, I had a program given to me by Dr. Mark Nicely, who was then president. And part of it was to conduct industrial relations training across the country, or from teachers drawn from across the country. That took off in 2013, and it bore fruits. We had a good cohort, 1 and 2, that were trained in industrial relations. We want to bring the contact teachers out for a day or two, starting with a Friday into the weekend, so we don't disrupt school significantly. We want to expose the contact teachers to a wealth of knowledge of industrial relations, the code of ethics, the code of regulation of the Jamaica Teachers Association, the role and responsibility as the contact teacher, as your first line of defense for the general teaching population at school, including the principal, vice principal, the classroom teacher, and everybody, because that contact teacher represents all members of staff. So we want to bring them out, train them, expose them to the material that is available. Get the practitioners from the University of the West Indies to partner with us to train our teachers on the role and function of the contact teacher and of a working individual in Jamaica. We want to make sure that they are rewarded for the work that they have done. So right as it is now, the contact teacher is working at school, trying to get things done, but nothing is given to these contact teachers. Under my leadership, I want to be able to bring to the General Council for the approval so that the contact teachers is given a stipend. I'm not in a position to tell you how much the stipend will be at this time, because of course we'd have to do some calculations. But I want to reward my contact teachers for a job well done. And I'm sure when the teachers at the domestic level operating as a contact teacher start to perform more efficiently and more effectively, then the membership of the JTA will increase. And by virtue of its increase, then more members and more funds will be coming into the JTA to help to ensure that we can give the contact teacher a stipend. We want to make sure that every course that they embark on, they're certified, they receive a certificate, which means that they can add that certificate to their portfolio. So when they want to move on to become master teachers, they have certification to show show that they would have been exposed to a high level of training and a certain level of competence and skill that they would now reside within them. Hence, ensuring that they are now able to better qualify themselves as a master teacher for which there is benefit to be gained. Colleagues, I want to say to you that the contact teacher forms one of the pillars on which the JTA reside. And it is in my opinion and my fervent view that all should be done to ensure that the contact teachers are able to represent the JTA and the profession efficiently, effectively, with quality and class at the domestic level, so that we will have not so much of a problem at the higher level, going to court, going to arbitration, going to all sorts of things, but we'll sort it out.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Drummond, your rebuttal.
Thank you very much, Damien. You know, it's funny, you know, and I can give you, well, not official, but it says about 35% of our principals are members of the JTA. One of the things that we need to do is to smooth the tug-of-war that exists between contact teachers and their principals. And if we don't treat with that, then we are going to be in for a shocker. Because I have gone to the industrial relations rally. Very, very good rallies. But how many of our contact teachers were able to go? I was told of a case where the principal told the teacher that they are not allowing them because there was nothing that says they are to allow them to go. So I am saying that let us smooth out that relationship. We need to incorporate our principal, invite them so that they feel a part, even if they are not a member of the JTA. And then once that is smooth, then we will get more contact teachers. So the rebranding that we're talking about, that Mr. Smith alluded to earlier, can take place. But unless we have that cordiality between the principals and the contact teacher, and we iron out that tug-of-war, then we are in for a shocker.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond. The next question is for you, Mr. Drummond. If you are elected to be the next JTA president, what will be your proposal in response to the issue of violence in schools?
Thank you very much. I want to look qualitatively at safety and security in our schools. We need to ensure that we forge that alliance between the National Parent Teachers Association and the school's administration. Because unless we are able to hold our parents accountable, or stakeholders accountable, then the issue of safety and security is still going to be on the books. The second thing that we need to do is that we need to get trained safety officers in the school. Not the safety officers that just leave school and want to give them a 1-year contract. We need to provide for the schools personnel that have training in security, safety and security. Thirdly, we need to ensure that we provide the necessary resources. So things like fencing of the school, things like security cameras in the school. These are minimum that we are asking the Ministry of Finance. These are minimum that we are asking the government for, to provide for our members. Our members are losing their lives. God bless Carl Samuels of Vauxhall, who was killed on the compound. We need to ensure that adequate security, adequate safety measures are put in place that will protect all our members. All our members.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond. Mr. Smith, your rebuttal.
Thank you, Damien. The issue of safety in our schools and in the society as a whole is a serious problem. Crime and violence in Jamaica is a national problem. And even now, the Minister of National Security, the government is struggling with it. And when I say government, successive governments have struggled with crime and violence. Our school is a microcosm of the society. And therefore, it is almost unavoidable that violence in school will spill over. What we need to do to correct that is to get our parents on board. Educate our parents. I remember saying to a particular Minister of Education at one point in time that maybe we need to send the children home and bring the parents into school to teach the parents about their role and responsibility as teachers, as parents and supporters of our children. We need to go back to the program where we had the program in primary school where we used to walk with this and say, no bother me, or that kind of thing on a book. And we used to speak to the issue of violence to get children to understand conflict resolution and dispute resolution, because everything is almost about fight back because we are too hostile as a people.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Drummond, your rebuttal. Your rebuttal. I beg your pardon. We'll move to the next question, which is for Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, given the increasing demand for science, technology, education, and mathematics teachers in the system, what do you think is the proposal to pay them higher? What do you think of the proposal to pay them higher than other educators?
I do not support the idea of paying subject teachers higher. If we do that, then we're starting to set a negative precedence. All teachers are teachers. What we need to do is to pay all teachers properly so that all teachers have a proper livable wage. As it is now, our children are struggling in mathematics. It's not because the teachers are not good. The teachers are trying, but the results are not forthcoming because the reality is, in our society today, we seem not to validate education the way it ought to. It is because we put little or no interest in education. If you look at the national awards each year, how many educators are recognized? But as soon as other disciplines do something, they're given national standing. Dr. Packer, how much award was he given? Being one of the greatest mathematical minds I've ever encountered. Has he been singled out and really put on the pedestal for his mathematical acumen? There are many lecturers and teachers today who are getting 100% from success just by teaching mathematics. I too am a science teacher. I was the head of science department. When my students at Papin did well, when we started CXC, moving from SSC, nobody paid us any mind, but our children were doing well. When we look at how we as a society treat education, it is no quick fix to say, let us pay them more, because it's not the lack of money that causes the result, but rather the lack of support right throughout the education sector. And if we now go ahead and say, okay, let us give the teachers more, you create now a kind of elitism at school, which makes school more difficult to manage, and they start together as a unified bunch, ensuring that Jamaica land we love become a more educated place. So I'm not in support of this paying any teacher. And as I'm saying to you, I am a science teacher. I would have benefited from it. My wife is a mathematics teacher. She would have benefited as well. But I'm saying to everybody, do not go the subject enhancement by paying result. Go to the area of paying teachers well, right across the board, so that teachers no longer have to leave Jamaica and go abroad to eke out a living so they can buy a house or buy a car, or to really just take care of a family and live in good health. Pay the teachers of Jamaica well. Every teacher, that is what we need to do, and to do away with this argument of paying teachers based on the subject discipline, because then you would also kill the colleges. Nobody wants to go to Shortwood or Michael to do anything else except math and English. So we'd kill the feeder schools. And guess what? Education is not just about math and English. There are many bank managers today who never pass CXC math, but they're sitting in banks as managers today. There are many in high places in Jamaica who never pass CXC math, but they're there.
Thank you,
so
Mr.
education is more than just maths and science.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Drummond, your rebuttal.
Thank you very much. Again, I am saying equal pay. And I say it without any muzzle over my mouth. And let me just share with you. In other dispensation, when the Jamaican teachers go in other jurisdiction, they are getting good performances in the STEM or the STEAM program. So I don't think it's the quality of our teachers. I think we need to get back to basic. The core value of the society has been diminishing, and it is diminishing very, very fast. We have to ensure that the young people today sees education as a viable option. They don't see it. And let me tell you why. The teachers' houses are the smallest houses on the housing scheme. The teachers drive the oldest cars in the parking lot. And so they don't see that as an attractive alternative. What we need to do is to go back to the society and let them understand and embrace what we have as a culture, so that the value on education can be returned.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond. We're now up on our final break in this, the first ever nationally organized JTA Presidential Debate series between Petersfield Primary School teacher Godfrey Drummond and Golden Spring Primary Principal Winston Smith. Stay with us.
Your favor at the JTA Corp Credit Union. With our auto loan, you enjoy low monthly payments, free loan insurance protection, and automatic approval for a premium finance loan to cover your insurance needs. Don't just dream about that new car. Let the JTA Corp Credit Union help you drive it today. The JTA Corp Credit Union Limited, serving our members, impacting lives positively.
Public sector employees, we hail you as our local heroes.
JN Bank is here to help you find financial solutions as you serve our nation on the front line at this critical time.
Consolidate debt with JN Bank COVID-19 assistance loan, defer payments and more.
Increase your credit card limit, convert debt, and take advantage of pre-approved offers with our credit card assistance.
Convert your mortgage, extend your loan tenure and more.
JN Bank is even waiving multiple banking fees to give you that extra help.
And while we're practicing hand washing and social distancing, here are some healthy financial habits to help you. Use your credit or debit card instead of cash. Save the money you would use for travel, entertainment, etc. and do online banking via JN Live.
Visit www.jnbank.com/COVID-19-help for more information and contact our public sector engagement team to find out more.
JN Bank, we'll help you find a way. Public sector.
Welcome to the Jamaica Publishing House. My name is Prudence Burrell, your marketing and sales officer. Come on in. These are our newly published books. We have Mathematics Made Real series. We have book 1 and book 2 for grade 4. And we also have for grade 5. And coming soon, we have grade 6. And they are authored by Davion Leslie. Leaps and Bounds in Literacy for Juniors, the focus is on reading and comprehension skills. Coming soon, we have the Journeys in Literacy for Juniors for grade 4, and the focus is on developing writing skills. We also have Leaps and Bounds in Literacy for grade 4, developing grammar, and Leaps and Bounds for grade 5. And they are all authored by Fionn Elliott Walker. They are all aligned to the NSC and focus on STEM and STEAM. These published books are currently on the Ministry of Education Youth and Information Supplementary List for the year 2020-21. Guess what? We also have books for early childhood and secondary schools. Here we have the Get Ready to Learn series, terms 1 to 3 for 4 and 5-year-olds. For secondary schools, here are our books for drama, EDPM, food and nutrition, history, and literature, all authored by Jamaican educators. These books are available in bookstores island-wide. You may contact us at 876-967-3866 or 922-13857, extension 2223, or you can visit us at the headquarters of our parent company, the Jamaica Teachers Association at 97B Church Street, Kingston. Thank you.
Judy Miller-Smith, Tip Friendly Society. TIP is usually very happy to partner with the JTA on its various initiatives. Here at TIP, we continue to provide our members with excellent products and services. We launched our mortgage plan very recently. Please speak with any of our representatives for further details on this excellent product. On July 25th, we'll be hosting our annual general meeting at the Jamaica Conference Center. Please visit our website at www.tipfriendly.com for further details. See you soon.
Do you yearn for your own home? Don't wait any longer. Get JTA Credit Union mortgage loan today and enjoy the freedom and peace of mind that comes with owning your own home. With a JTA Credit Union mortgage loan, you enjoy a low interest rate of 7.5% per annum, up to 25 years to repay, and free insurance protection on your loan. Enjoy the freedom and security of home ownership with JTA Credit Union Limited. The JTA Credit Union Limited, serving our members, impacting lives positively. Tired of paying?
It's down to the wire. 2 top candidates vie for the JTA presidency. Watch Petersfield primary teacher Godfrey Drummond and Golden Spring primary principal Winston Smith in the first ever JTA presidential debate. Will Godfrey Drummond reign?
I want to ensure that at the end of the day, Drummond would have made an impact.
Or will Winston Smith prevail?
A vote for me is a vote for a positive change in the Jamaica Teachers Association.
Catch the action live in the JTA Presidential Debate this Thursday, July 16, starting at 5:30 p.m. live on the JTA's Facebook page and YouTube channel. That's the 2020 JTA Presidential Debate this Thursday, July 16. The Jamaica Teachers Association, unite and serve. Thank you for staying with us for this, the final in the series of the first ever nationally organized Jamaica Teachers Association Presidential Debate. I'm Damian Mitchell. Our contenders are senior teacher at the Petersfield Primary School, Godfrey Drummond, and Golden Spring Primary Principal, Winston Smith. Both are running for the office of President-elect of the JTA for the conference year 2020-2021. This debate is coming to you live from the WBC Ben Hawthorne Conference Room at the offices of the Jamaica Teachers Association at 97B Church Street in downtown Kingston. We begin this segment with our third question from the region.
Good evening, colleagues. I represent the Western region. Gentlemen, my question is, do you think there needs to be a separate association for principals and vice principals? And if not, how will you create a balance in your presentation of each sector of the education system, for example, principals and teachers, and ensure that each group feels valued? Thank you.
Mr. Drummond, that's your question.
Thank you very much. To have a separate association for principals, vice principals, different from that which you would have for teacher, would have been a retrograde step. If one can recall, one would remember that the association of the JTA came about as a result of all those conglomerates coming together to form one association. And I speak with much passion that we must try to strengthen the JTA without splintering. Let me tell you what can be done. We have to look at the ABC approach. We have to look at the attitude and the aptitude towards each other. It's a known fact that we have suppressions in some school. We have to treat with leveling it out so that teachers are accountable and principal does not feel it within their right to victimize our teachers. We must have a belief to get it done. Once we believe, then it can be achieved. And the C says we must be committed to the cause. Now, we are in a new era, and we must seek to embrace the changes because education is dynamic. And as a part of that dynamism, we must be empathetic towards all. We must be realistic, and we must be accountable. When one look at what is happening now, too many divisiveness because of power struggle for one sector and because of the elitism that currently exists, that some persons don't feel that they must subscribe to the same code as everyone. I believe, though, that as a regular classroom teacher, I believe that as a senior teacher who is on the battlefield, that I want my union to be united. I want my union to be speaking from the same book, because if we don't do that, then other sectors, other unions will be looking down on us. The JTA is by far the biggest trade union in the English-speaking Caribbean, if not the Western world. And I want us to operate as such. One union, uniting and serving the cause.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond. Mr. Smith, your rebuttal.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. The idea of a union representing a principal and a union representing teachers really has no basis in a conversation in this dispensation. The reality is every principal is a teacher. Every vice principal is a teacher. Every guidance counselor is a teacher. So basically what you're asking me is to split myself. I operate in a post of principal. I'm a teacher. I operate in a post of vice principal. I'm a teacher. The bottom line is we can't separate them because we are one and the same. Furthermore, we want to share with our teachers, principals, and of course the school board, that there's provision in the Education Regulation Act of 1980. And if my memory is still good, it says in Regulation 67, it says that teachers can have time off to attend to meetings of their union.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Our next question comes from the JTA's Southeastern region, represented by Ms. Paula Plum.
be concerned about the past and projected mass exodus of trade.
What we can do is to ensure that what we have to offer, our product and our compensation, is competitive. To that end, I would ask the government of Jamaica to ensure that teachers are properly remunerated. Not just to give us pay now, but we want to look at the conditions of service of the teacher. Provide the teachers with the technological support, the human resource, the financial resource, and also the support in guiding and ensuring that our teachers feel at home and feel comfortable. Because the reality is, many teachers, they leave, but they are missing being at home. I spoke to some teachers in North Carolina and they said they wish they had JTA up there to defend them. Because some of the benefits they get in Jamaica, they can't get that up there. You're not even allowed to be sick. You have to go to work. You can't take a casual leave as we have in Jamaica. But there's more that we need to do for our teachers of Jamaica. We need to let our teachers feel more appreciated. As soon as the JTA embarks on a program of negotiating, which is all right, so to do, and every union negotiates for its workers, but whenever the JTA negotiates, the public turns on us and to vilify teachers and let us feel as if we are of no use and no value. And one of the good things that would come out of COVID-19 is parents and John public now start to realize how difficult a task the teachers of Jamaica has to undergo on a daily basis. I am saying to ensure that our teachers remain here because they prefer to be here. The climate is better, but guess what? The conditions of service, the way we treat our teachers as a society is very, 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 very poor. And that is where we need to put a change. And once we have changed that, change the outlook, change the attitude, give the teachers proper livable wage, give them the resources to do their jobs, acknowledge and recognize them. Remember, Maslow's hierarchy of needs speak to recognition and also the opportunity to self-actualize. And until we get back to those basic things of fixing the issues that really matters to the teacher, then we're always going to have Jamaica teachers going abroad to teach. We struggle with that issue right now. The rural parishes are complaining because the teachers are leaving from the rural parish into Kingston. Why? Because the conditions in Kingston are better than the conditions in the rural parishes. So we can look at what is happening within our local space here at Jamaica Land We Love and to look at what will happen if we don't treat our teachers better.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Drummond, your rebuttal.
I'm happy that my worthy colleague mentioned the urban-rural migration. He himself would have left St. Elizabeth very, very early and came back to Kingston. But one of the things that we must, and I want to thank Paula, that we must be truthful. One, in any society, we must be able to pay our teachers better to keep them. We must be able to provide that safety net that teachers so long for. We must improve the conditions under which they work. We must give them the necessary training and the peace of mind. Because let me tell you what is happening. Up until March, when the COVID came on us, 594 teachers left the shores. And when I asked Mr. Samuda last year at the conference, he said that he's not really concerned about that. FACES, they are coming. TIF, they are coming. The British Educational Board, they are coming. As a matter of fact, they are trying to recruit online teachers now. And so if we don't treat with it as a matter of urgency, we are going to be having more brain drain.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond. Mr. Drummond, your question, what would be your advice to the Education Minister to radically reform the early childhood sector?
Thank you very much. In 2005, when I went as a part of a contingent to the World Federation of Democratic Youth and Students, we presented a paper on education in the developing world. And I had the opportunity of speaking to persons from different jurisdictions and to share best practices. One of the things that we need to do, and I want to thank former President Mark nicely, because he had gotten some amount of gains in the early childhood sector. But we must act on it. Subsequent presidents may have come and have not pressed home on it. But for any society to thrive, we must ensure that early childhood level gets the necessary amount of funding. Currently, our education landscape as it is now is cued differently, where we put a lot of funding, a lot of resources at the top. What we need to do is to ensure that the early childhood sector gets more funding. Currently, only one trained teacher is paid at the early childhood sector. The early childhood institution has to pay for accreditation and registration. If we are serious about education, what we need to do is to ensure that we put some funding, put our monies where our mouths are, so that we can start investing in the youth. Because the history has shown, research has shown that once the early childhood sector is stable, once the child gets that stable beginning, then the rest is history in terms of the upward trajectory. We need to ensure that early childhood sector gets more funding, gets more resource, gets more capital, more human resource. When I talk about human, I'm talking about financial and human resource, because we don't want to be like the footballers who put the top players and the top coaches at the top, but at the bottom we have the amateurs. And so what we're having is that as they reach the top, the job at the top to correct them is so grave that might as well we would have flipped the script and start at the base. So that is the issue that we have to contend with the early childhood sector.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond. Mr. Smith, your rebuttal.
Thank you. If Mr. Samuda is hearing, I would advise Mr. Samuda to really take a more serious look at what is happening in the early childhood sector. There's a disconnect between the standard as it relates to teacher-student ratio from the Ministry of Education and from the Early Childhood Commission. That creates a problem in the system. Secondly, we want them to shift the age from 4 down to 2 and infuse the Brain Builders program so that we now have our children coming into school at a younger age. They can be trained and taught better and prepared for lifelong learning if we capture them as early as possible. To that end, the ministry should then embark on building more early childhood institutions, offering more scholarships to teachers to go to the institutions, to MICO and Shortwood and the other teachers training institutes, to train and become qualified education early childhood practitioners.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Well, we've all but come to the end of today's debate. Now our candidates will ask each other a question. Since Mr. Drummond opened the batting, for this segment, Mr. Smith will go first. So, Mr. Smith, question for Mr. Drummond.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Mr. Drummond, last week when we stood at this very platform, I hear you articulated so eloquently the desperate call and desire for all teachers to be beneficiary from the concession offered to principals and travel officers in our sector. Could you explain to me how would you expect that to work, seeing that for the last 3 negotiations, that item has been placed on the claim and the JTA has vigorously debated it and has not gotten any success? So please tell me how you go about it and explain to me how would the country strive or survive once we get it.
Thank you very much. I know you normally bowl a googly at the end, and I was anticipating that one. But in all fairness, I speak again without any water in my mouth, that I think that there's much more that the regular classroom teacher, the regular subject teachers, the senior teachers can be had. The motor vehicle allowance, the motor vehicle concessions, I beg your pardon, that we spoke about last week, sir, is a fact that our teachers' lives could be made better had more of it been disseminated to them. I don't want to bargain on behalf of the government. I want to bargain on behalf of the teacher. Currently, our principals, our vice principals, senior teachers, traveling officers are the ones that are benefiting from it. But I am saying, the physical education teacher does a lot of traveling. They are not in receipt of the motor vehicle concession. How about opening up and partnering? How about the principals and vice principals recusing themselves and say, all right, let us give up the 20% and take 15% so that 5% can be dealt with for the regular teachers? I am saying that more can be done. And I still stand by that. And if we put it on the claim next year, and the other year, if it is not granted, I will want to put it on until the government listens and treat with it, because it is a necessity at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond. Mr. Drummond, now for your question to Mr. Smith.
Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Smith, my good friend, we were in 2 fora, and I advocated for the online lesson plan bank. I can recall in the Montego Bay, the St. James meeting, you vehemently chastised the plan to have the online lesson plan bank. As a matter of fact, you said it was a requirement when Section 44 of the Education Regulations Act says teachers shall develop. How do you treat with not having that online lesson plan bank? Or is it that you view it as non-essential to teachers' performance? Why you negate from having that item?
Right. Thank you, Mr. Drummond. Winston Smith values the intellectual competence of my fellow educators. It is part of our duty to develop lesson plans. I also understand that there is no one-size-fits-all in our school system. I also recognize that teachers complain about writing lesson plans. And that's a known fact. It's a time-consuming event. But the reality is, over the years, we have been hearing of a lesson plan bank coming. And to this day, the lesson plan bank has not materialized. Many presidents have tried. But who is going to write the lesson plan to put up? Who is going to sit down and tailor-make the lesson plan for every single class, bearing in mind multiple intelligence within each class? So we can't fix a lesson plan and say, go and draw it down from the internet and teach it in your class. I remember hearing you said that you would ask the students from the teachers' colleges. Now I find that reprehensible. So you ask that they should write it. That's reprehensible. But I'm asking, when we say we're going to put this lesson plan bank out there, who is going to write it? Now, when we go online and we pull that lesson plan down, it takes far more time to restructure that lesson plan, to tailor-make it to fit your class in that time and space. It is easier and less time-consuming for you to sit down and plan a lesson. And in my school, where we believe in collaboration and working together, we sit down and we have what is called common planning time, and most schools have common planning time. So we can draw on the skills and the competence of each other to make the job less arduous. But to say that you're going to put a template or a lesson plan bank on the internet or in the JTA, what about the teachers who are not members of the Jamaica Teachers Association, who has no access to the JTA's website or database? What will happen to those teachers? When we now say that we are going to hold teachers accountable for the quality lesson plan and the deliverables and the delivery of the lesson, the teacher says, it's not mine. I took it from somebody. So now we are creating a system in our schools that checks and balance become more difficult because we're not able to hold people accountable. And I'm saying I still believe in the intellectual capacity, the competence, and the skills of my colleagues that they are able to write quality lesson plan, deliver them. The teachers are discontented because the conditions of work are poor and the remuneration is even worse. Teachers have told me the only time I'm upset is when I get paid. When I look at what the government gives me for the hard work I would have done for the 22 months. And that is the discouraging factor, not the lack of lesson plan.
Well, thank you so very much, Mr. Smith. And now, Mr. Smith, your closing 2 minutes.
Colleagues, my fellow educators, I am Winston Smith. I was born in Rose Hall in St. Elizabeth. This is a part of Jamaica where rain seldom falls, but yet we are able to produce the sweetest watermelon, the nicest bunch of scallion, the sweet pepper, yam, and all the food. Jamaica regards St. Elizabeth as a breadbasket. What it is saying to you, my colleagues, is that I'm tenacious. I'm a survivor. I know how to make things happen. I know how to be creative and to get the job done. I've spent the better part of 14 years serving in the Jamaica Teachers Association. As a matter of fact, take a look. I wish you would zoom in. This award I'm wearing on my jacket today is a WBC Ben Horton Award for outstanding contribution to the Jamaica Teachers Association and the field of education. I've given you yeoman service. And colleagues, here is a young man. He occupies a post of principal, but he walks with the heart of a teacher on his sleeve. He cares about you more than you even know. And I'll say that to you because when I review my records and my file, there are over 25 teachers who have not benefited from the 50% refund that I represented them, thanks to Byron Farquharson and the members of the General Council of the JTA, who asked me and granted me the privilege to serve you in that capacity. And I have not failed you, my colleagues. Teachers of Jamaica, I am committed. I'm all about giving of myself to you, to us, to the children of Jamaica, and Jamaica land with love. A president must not just only be able to talk the talk. Remember, as a president, you'll have to represent the JTA and Jamaica beyond the conference room. You'll have to face the hostile media, and you must have a depth of knowledge to represent and articulate well. And I'm asking the teachers of Jamaica to vote for Winston Smith for a positive change in the JTA.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Drummond, now for your 2-minute closing argument.
Thank you very much. Teachers for teachers, and I say it without fear or favor. Anything that will make the regular teachers' lives better, Drummond will advocate the cause. I always keep this around because it says teachers hang tough. I know Mr. Smith recalled this special meeting at Woolmer's Boys School when, as a part of the Salaries and Negotiation Committee, they took a deal in the middle of the night when I was on my way to Westmoreland after we have voted 313 to 37. Now, is this the man that we want to put in charge of the Jamaica Teachers Association? I say no. Let me tell you something. I am a regular classroom teacher. I am in the hot classroom when it's hot. When the rain falls, we get a lot of rain in Westmoreland, I have to be navigating the classroom to let my children stay dry. Teachers endure treacherous conditions. They are no longer given baskets to carry water. They are given bottomless buckets. And I say without fear or favor, teachers for teacher, embrace Drummond's dazzling dozen. 12 simple, straightforward points that we hope to put forward with the ministry. We're going to partner with them. We're going to collaborate so that we get the online lesson plan bank. So that teachers' lives, because it's a known fact, relationships have been damaged by lesson plan and test papers and report cards. Colleagues, you need firm, fearless leader. When I ask questions, I don't gesticulate, I don't put water in my mouth because I don't back down. SecGen knows that from council. I am a man of action. I might not get an award as small as yours. Mine came from Sagicor, very, very big. For 15 years of unresolved, unbroken service to sports in the JTA. And that is my contribution.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Drummond. And thanks to our candidates for this, the first ever JTA Presidential Debate. Our candidates, senior teacher at the Petersfield Primary School, Godfrey Drummond, and principal of the Golden Spring Primary School, Winston Smith. Thanks also to our partners, the JTA Cooperative Credit Union Limited, the Jamaica Publishing House, Tip Friendly Society, and the Jamaica Teachers Association, as well as Jamaica National Bank and the JTA Unite and Serve. But just before we go, a quick word with the candidates. Our JTA Communications and Public Relations Officer, Leon Nash, joins us.
Thank you very much, and since I'm standing close to Mr. Smith, I'm going to be posing 2 questions to you. The COVID-19 pandemic changed just about everything for this year, including how the JTA would conduct its business. How do you sum up the campaign for President-elect so far for you?
Thank you, Mr. Nash. Due to COVID-19, campaigning this year was not as nice, for want of a better word, as last year. Last year I was able to go right across the country, interacted with my colleagues, get a first-hand look on the conditions under which they work, hear the diverse views, because sometimes you're in the staff room and you're talking to teachers, and some teachers are saying this and they're pulling. So right there, there's a difference of thought among the colleagues. Also, it was an awesome experience to traverse the hills and valleys. Go to school. I've gone to schools I would have read about. My most fulfilling experience last year, because we didn't get to go on the road this year because of COVID, but last year I remember going to Claude McKay, and we were greeted with some nice apples and fruits, and so it was really good. I mean, this year though, it was more of a technological base, so emanating from that was a good thing, because being a person who shy away from Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, it brought me out, thanks to my teachers at Golden Spring Primary School and my campaign team who helped me to navigate the landscape. So that I'm grateful, because I learned something new.
Thank you. And the final question now for you, Mr. Smith. What has been that single most inspirational moment on the campaign trail then?
The most inspirational moment for me, when having been on the campaign trail, is when a teacher came to me. And she said to me, Mr. Smith, you know, I work as a senior teacher for a number of years. And I was wrongly classified as a senior teacher 2. But based on the work that I have to do, I'm a senior teacher 3. I asked her to provide me with evidence of the letter written by the board. And she did. Having given me the letter, I went about advising her how to treat with the matter. And I received a call from her 2 days ago to say, yes, she has been truly and correctly placed and is now in receipt of her senior teacher 3 allowance. And for that reason, and those are things that going out there, getting the chance to share with teachers, to explain to them how things work, was really a fulfilling experience and one that I'll always treasure.
Thank you very much. Now I go to the taller gentleman, who I have to look up to. The COVID-19 pandemic, Mr. Drummond, has resulted in drastic changes to the lives of every Jamaican and business, including the Jamaica Teachers Association. What would you have seen as the most surprising for you so far during your campaign?
Thank you very much. But before I start, I just want to thank my campaign team. Young teachers, energetic teachers who thought it fit that they want to embrace the spirit of what is happening. 2 things would have struck me. One, a gentleman by the name of Kevin King, the principal of Little Bay All Age, who, having realized that he was unable to reach his students because of the inhibition from the government, he realized that his students live in remote areas that are inaccessible by his motor vehicle. He took upon himself to go on a motorcycle, a motorbike taxi, printed material, and took it to each and every student, especially those in his exiting class. And that, I say, was most telling. As a matter of fact, it borders on touching, because we sometimes take for granted the quality of personnel that we have in education. But what Mr. King did really touched the core of us, having gone beyond the call of duty to ensure that his children, his charges, were reached amidst the epidemic, the pandemic, that is.
Thank you very much. Now, your final question, sir. Name me 3 qualities you have been sharpening in the contest for JTA presidency.
Qualities, I have to sharpen all qualities because teachers mark hard. SecGen knows that. And so you have to look at how you interact, how you interface with your teachers. But having gone on the road, of course, Mr. Smith doesn't have to go because he went last year, but I am on the road, and persons would have seen the difference in how I interact with them, the level of exposure, my speech, my dress, my mode of dress, and just about everything that has to do with the professional. I have to be sharpening these skills and honing my skill in a much more comfortable and much more befitting way.
Thank you very much. Back to you now, Damon.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Nash, and thanks to the candidates. But most of all, thanks to you joining us on Zoom, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on the JTA website. The ball is now in the hands of you, delegates, for the election in the weeks ahead. Until next time, I'm Damian Mitchell. Thanks for watching. Good evening.
Favor at the JTA Corp Credit Union. With our auto loan, you enjoy low monthly payments, free loan insurance protection, and automatic approval for a premium finance loan to cover your insurance needs. Don't just dream about that new car. Let the JTA Corp Credit Union help you drive it today. The JTA Corp Credit Union Limited, serving our members, impacting lives positively.
Employees, we hail you as our local heroes.
JN Bank is here to help you find financial solutions as you serve our nation on the front line at this critical time.
Consolidate debt with JN Bank COVID-19
Card assistance.
Convert your mortgage, extend your loan tenure, and more.
JN Bank is even waiving multiple banking fees to give you that extra help.
And while we're practicing hand washing and social distancing, here are some healthy financial habits to help JN Live.
Visit www.jnbank.com.
Your marketing and sales officer. 2 for grade 4, and we also have for grade 5, and coming soon we have grade 6, and they are authored by Davion Leslie. Leaps and Bounds in Literacy for Juniors. The focus is on reading and comprehension skills. Coming soon, we have the Journeys in Literacy for Juniors for grade 4, and the focus is on developing writing skills. We also have Leaps and Bounds in Literacy for grade 4, developing grammar, and Leaps and Bounds for grade 5. And they are all authored by Fionn Elliott Walker. They are all aligned to the NSC and focus on STEM and STEAM. These published books are currently on the Ministry of Education Youth and Information Supplementary List for the year 2020-21. Guess what? We also have books for early childhood and secondary schools. Here we have the Get Ready to Learn series, terms 1 to 3 for 4 and 5-year-olds. For secondary schools, here are our books for drama, EDPM, food and nutrition, history, and literature, all authored by Jamaican educators. These books are available in bookstores island-wide. You may contact us at 876-967-3866 or 922-13857, extension 2223, or you can visit us at the headquarters of our parent company, the Jamaica Teachers Association, at 97B Church Street, Kingston. Thank you.
Do you yearn for your own home? Don't wait any longer. Get JTA Corp Credit Union mortgage loan today and enjoy the freedom and peace of mind that comes with owning your own home. With a JTA Corp Credit Union mortgage loan, you enjoy a low interest rate of 7.5% per annum, up to 25 years to repay, and free insurance protection on your loan. Enjoy the freedom and security of home ownership with JTA Corp Credit Union Limited. The JTA Corp Credit Union Limited, serving our members, impacting lives positively. Tired of paying rent?